What's up, guys? It's Rick Ginn here with Flip with Rick, and it's Friday evening. And you know what happens on Friday evening? It is Rick, aka Dad, and we're going to talk about everything wholesaling today. I have a fun topic. We are going to focus on PropStream. I'm going to teach you my hacks that help me get through PropStream. As you guys know, me and Zach rely heavily on PropStream to use our business. And if you have the wherewithal and you have a little bit of money, PropStream is a great tool to use in your business. Now, full disclosure, you don't need PropStream to get started in wholesaling. It just makes it a heck of a lot more convenient. Is you're able to buy some resources, which saves you a ton of time. But you got to have the basic skill sets to get started in PropStream. So if you've never used PropStream, today's video is all about you. So what we'll do is go through like a 15-20 minute tutorial video. And after that, we open it up for all questions, Q&A. We talk about PropStream. We talk about anything wholesaling. And let's just have fun with it, man. So I love PropStream because back in the day when I got started, the only way I could get leads is I actually had to go to the the county property appraiser site, and I had to beg and download list and pay for basically pay for coders to get me those lists. Now, the good thing is I learned everything I need to know about lists, how they're coded, how they work. And then I graduated and I went to what they call CoreLogic, which you guys know is today as List Source. And if you've never used List Source, it's an a la carte services. The good news is it's free until you buy it. It's a la carte. The bad news is it can cost you 20 cents per lead. And that's why most people try to stay away from those services. And that's why PropStream is such a valuable source, guys. You get 10,000 leads included in your subscription. It's a basic subscription. It's less than $100 a month. And you can run your comps. You can use it as a light CRM database. There's so much you can do with it. And you can find out everything you want to know about your seller, what type of mortgage it is, the estimated equity, the type of mortgage. You can actually get a link to the document. So I like to have stuff in front of me. So when I'm talking to my sellers, it makes it super convenient. But once again, guys, you don't have to have PropStream to get started in wholesaling. It's not a requirement. It's just a tool for when you get up and running in the business and you want to streamline your operations, especially for those of you who are like a one man or a one woman army. It's like having an employee for $97. That's because you get 10,000 leads with it. And that's, to me, the biggest takeaway you can do it. 10,000 leads used to cost me $300 to $500 a month just going through CoreLogic's List Source. So from that right there is the bang in its buck. If you guys are new to PropStream, if you go to listrei.com, you get a 7 free day trial period with it. It works really well. And guys, I don't recommend anything to you guys unless I used it in my business for at least 1 year. So I've been using PropStream for quite a bit of time. And actually, it's my favorite. I'm just going to tell you I'm a little bit biased because it's just simple. There's pretty much one price unless you get like some of the fancier stuff, and it's just easy to use. So if you guys are new to the channel today, do me a favor, hit that subscribe button, smash that like button if you want to continue to receive live free content on wholesaling. If you guys are new to us, me and my son, Zach, we run this channel. It is all about wholesaling. I have 20 years experience. Zach has 5. And we teach you how to get started in wholesaling to make $100,000. And we do it absolutely free. I have absolutely nothing to sell you. And that's the beauty of this channel is I believe that wholesaling should evolve. It's being taught like it was 20 years ago. And you guys know the world has changed. Technology has changed. And I'm here to show you the light. And anybody who tells you there's a secret in wholesaling, I promise you they got another secret that you'll have to pay them to get into it. And wholesaling is so basic, guys. It's like learning your ABCs. I don't understand it. If you're going to pay for wholesaling, you're going to pay for like 100 other niches in real estate investing, and it's going to cost you a fortune. But regardless if you pay or do it for free, you can go to freewholesaling.com. Let me put it up here for you. It is the number one not download the number one viewed course on wholesaling in America. And as I said, it's 100% free. I don't use it as a lead funnel. Guys, I flip a lot of properties. I do very well. I'm very good at what I do. And I'm creating a legacy by teaching you guys this for absolutely free in hopes of building the biggest, largest, toughest, baddest wholesaling community out there. And you guys got two ways to vote with you. Number one, you're going to vote with your time. Time is spending time with me. I'm here with you 2 hours, and I do this 100% free. This is your mastermind. The other way you can vote is with your dollars. And since I'm not asking you for any of your money, this is a really easy decision for you. But guys, before you guys go out and spend money on all these courses, just ask yourself, what am I truly getting? And a lot of people feel that if I pay for something, then they'll pay more attention to me. And I'm here to tell you, it doesn't work that way, because most scaling people is they take thousands of students. It's very hard to get one-on-one attention. And that's what drives me nuts about the business. When I went back to the business, I actually paid somebody, and it wasn't even that, they didn't really teach me a whole lot, but I did get one-on-one service. So I was happy with it. Fast forward to 2022, when you got 50 to 100 people on a Zoom call, that's not like one-on-one service. So here's what we're going to do. We're going to go through PropStream. If you have any questions, put it in the comments. I'll try to answer them as I go along. And then when we're done with the teaching section, I will show you everything. Actually, we'll discuss anything you want to discuss in wholesaling. Guys, we want to keep it positive. Please work with people in the chat. You all are like-minded. Let them know what market you're at, because it really helps everybody out. And you guys work amongst each other. Remember, you have to verify who you're working with. I don't vouch for anyone that I don't personally know. I know a lot of you guys, but I don't know a lot of you guys personally. So let's get started. Let's talk about wholesaling, guys. But if we're going to do wholesaling, you got to learn how to have fun with it. You got to have energy. And honestly, you have to stand out from all the people else doing it. Guys, I don't believe there's competition. Saturation is for would-be wholesalers that are never going to follow through. If you truly want to embrace wholesaling and you want to stand out amongst your sellers, watch this video, and this is the energy I need from you.
Get the fuck out of bed, bitch. Go. Get up, and then they got go. Time to wake up, bitch. Get up. Get up. Get up.
Guys, that's what I'm talking about, man. Like, I just love fun stuff like that. So I like to kid around. I like to have a good time. And I think a lot of people in wholesaling in general, they take themselves way too seriously. Like, they're all business. What is this thing where everybody has to wear a jacket? I get the hat. I know what's going on. Half the people are just covering up their bald head, stuff like that. But like, whatever happened with the tennis shoes, the jacket, and the hat? I don't understand. Like, that's crazy. I worked in corporate America for 12 years. The only way, there's only two ways you get me in a jacket. It's most likely going to be a wedding or a funeral. And I'm okay with the wedding. The funeral, I'm not, nobody wants to do that. So, guys, if you're doing wholesaling and you're doing it for the same reason, I did it for absolute 100% freedom. If you're simply doing wholesaling just to make the most money possible, you'll most likely fail at it, because you have to go from a spot of helping people. And if you truly want to help people out, then the money will follow. If you solely chase money, that's all you're going to get out of it is money, and you will eventually burn out. I see so many wholesalers jump into this and they try to run 1,000 miles an hour. They typically get with some guru that tells them, like, all you have to do is download these lists, do this, make 1 million phone calls, and you'll make millions of dollars just like me. It's just, these guys never, ever last. And most of the people teaching wholesaling right now are from 2013 on. And I don't need to give you a history lesson on real estate. Since 2010, this has been nothing but a rocket ship going straight to the moon. And every day has its dog, and it's eventually going to come. And I'm just telling you, a lot of the techniques that are being taught out there right now, I promise you, most of them are going to be abandoned. So you've got to have a good fundamentals on what you're doing. So let's start off with PropStream. And if you guys are not using PropStream, I highly recommend it. It works really well. And the thing I like about PropStream is it's really not that hard to learn. Honestly, about a 15-20 minute like workaround in it, you'll be fine with it. And guys, don't take my word for it. When you sign up at listrei.com for it, you get a 7-day free trial period. Just test it out. There's tons of tutorials in there. And then go back to Flip with Rick. Myself and Zach, we go deep, much deeper than 15-20 minutes on how to set up your PropStream account, how to use it. And today we are going to walk through basically some simple hacks to get you started to find motivated sellers on PropStream. So I see everybody on the comments here. Let me see if there's anything I can answer here. Pretty straightforward. So let's jump into it. And as I said, if you guys want to get started with PropStream, go to listrei.com, the easiest way to get started. And remember, the huge takeaway you get from PropStream, why most people do it, is you get 10,000 leads included in your subscription per month. If you break that down, it breaks down to be very, very minimal. I'm not a math major, but I used to pay $500 to $700 just paying for these lists through CoreLogic, and you get that included in your account in PropStream. For that reason alone, it's absolutely amazing, and I would definitely go with it for that because there's no better price on the market in my opinion. So let's jump into it. I'm just going to teach you the basics. If you've never used PropStream before, how you can get started on finding motivated sellers for a wholesale deal. So the first thing we want to do, the whole goal of PropStream is what? It's very simple. It's to locate motivated sellers. That's it, guys. That is your number one objective. Everything else is honestly is secondary. Okay. I hear so many people get so caught up in comping, and comping is important. But honestly, if you cannot locate motivated sellers, nothing else will work. It doesn't matter what tool you have. So your primary objective has to be, how do I locate motivated sellers? You always have to be asking yourself this question if you're a wholesaler. And this question will eat you up till the day you stop wholesaling. Here I am 20 years, and what am I talking to you about? How can I find motivated sellers? That's all I care about. Guys, we can find people who want to sell their house all day long. That's actually not hard. Try to find somebody who wants to sell their house and has a motivating factor. You're going to have to hunt. So using a software tool like listrei.com will help you do that. So once you understand what the objective is, the next thing you do is you have to define your geographic area. You'd be surprised how many people get stuck on this one. Here's my recommendation. If you're struggling with what area to do, number one, always start with your local market. Even if you don't plan on concentrating on your local market, say you're in downtown New York, you're in LA, you're in like South Beach in Miami, you still know every property there. You want to get familiar with the local area, the numbers, and actually find out who the owners are. So when that deal comes up, you are completely prepared and you know the value of it. And hopefully you have an opportunity to take the deal down and do any type of deal out of it. Call it wholesaling. You can assign it, do creative financing subject to whatever, but never, ever, ever leave your local market. Even if you move out of there, you want to stay in touch with it. For instance, I grew up in Fort Lauderdale. Now, I don't go there a lot. I got family down there, but I know Fort Lauderdale well. And I know when a deal comes up, and I stay in tune with the numbers. I don't have to look at it every day. I can look at it like every few months and get an idea what the going rate is per square foot. And so I constantly do deals. I do 4 or 5 deals out of Fort Lauderdale every year, just by association, and everybody knows what I do. So never stop doing your local market, guys. So always start with your local market. And then the best way is you have 2 ways on PropStream. Now, I'm not doing a screen share on purpose because I find when I do screen shares, it kind of takes away from you actually learning. So I want you to learn the core foundation of how to use PropStream. If I do screen shares here, it takes away from the message I'm trying to do you. So my job 20 years in there as Rick, as dad, is to teach you the core philosophy. So you want to go to your local area. Now there's a tool in there in the upper left-hand corner where you can draw out your map area. I absolutely love this one. You have to get used to it for a while because all tools are a little bit different. It will highlight the geographical area you want to highlight in red, and you can go block by block with this. And I love it for areas that are like gentrifying, which they're churning over. It works really, really well. Now, the easiest way, in my opinion, I'm not a big fan of just putting in a city. Like you can't just type Port St. Lucie, Florida and hit enter because it's so general. And a lot of properties are miscoded based on cities. Some people spell Port St. Lucie PT, and some people spell it PORT. Guys, I could go on and on around through the country. Like Saint, is it ST or SAINT? So if I'm not going to do the geographic red area, I'm going to do zip codes. Zip codes are exact, they're precise, and you can't screw it up. That's why I highly recommend use zip codes. They are my favorite way, and you can dial it in. So I still use PropStream. I use it once a week minimum, and we use it every day for our acquisition people to underwrite our deals. So I still oversee all the marketing in my business because I love marketing. Marketing's, if you look at marketing, it's like the blood that pumps in your veins and pumps your heart. Without the marketing, your business doesn't exist. So if you're new to this, understanding the more you understand marketing, the better your business is going to do. So zip codes is it. And what I do is I'll take a zip code and I'll even break it down on a Microsoft Excel spreadsheet. And you have the ability to go in your PropStream account, use listai.com, and you can get counts. And it's important to know like how many sellers with these types of filters exist in this zip code. And you'll notice a trend, and you'll notice a couple zip codes will jump out you hugely. And that's where you do your investigation on what you want to find. So once we have the zip codes down, and you'll get so good at memorizing zip codes are exact. And I find when zip codes are associated with addresses, they don't get messed up often. If you guys just use city, it depends on how the database stored the name. And so I don't like using that. So geographic, you can use the red polygon or whatever you want to call it. And I just don't use the circle one, just draw it out. And I believe you get 4 to 5 edges on it. It works wonderful. And you can do like one section at a time, save that list, name it, and do another list. And then you can combine the lists at the end when you export them. So once we have the area figured out, one of the easiest lists to start out with is just simple high equity list. And what is a high equity list? It's exactly what it says it is. It's people who have a lot of equity in their house. So if you're new to wholesaling and you never heard this word equity, equity is basically the cash somebody has in their house. So if a house is worth $100,000 and we say they have 40% equity in it, it basically means they have $40,000 cash in the house, and the rest is usually in some type of mortgage. So a lot of people start out with a mortgage putting down 3 to 10%, depending on what program they did. So as they start paying it down, that equity goes up. And then also as the house appreciates, or as the dollar gets lower in value, the value of the house goes up. So the equity can increase by paying down the mortgage and by the real estate prices going up in the area. So if somebody had a $100,000 mortgage and they had 70% equity, it means they own $70,000 of their $100,000 house, and they roughly owe about $30,000 left on the house. Why is that important? The higher the equity somebody has in their house, the more opportunity you have to negotiate a deal. Now, if somebody has less than 25% equity, odds of you getting a deal are probably slim to none. Why? Because the average house in the United States, by the time you sell it, negotiate it, do everything, is 12 to 15% discount. How do I come to that number? 6% realtor fee, 2% closing costs, 5% negotiations. It goes on and on. It's so easy to get up to 12 to 15%. That's why I want to leave a buffer. I like high equity because people have owned the house for a long time. A lot of them have let the repairs go south, and they're willing to sell at a discount for ease of transaction. Remember, there's always a trade-off in wholesaling. The reason you're getting a deal is because you're giving them speed and liquidity of cash in exchange for convenience. And that is it. And once you understand that, you get it. So a lot of people go, Rick, why would someone want to sell their house so cheap? Have you ever seen a rundown car, a rundown boat? It's the same principle and philosophy. The only difference is they got a lot more money tied up in it. So if I was just starting out, I would start out with a high equity list because I believe that is the easiest one to get. So the next thing you have to do is once you do that, you can go to the filters tab. And this is on your PropStream account. And it'll be right in the middle towards the top. You just click filters. And a lot of these pre-filters will be set for you. What I want you to do is click clear filters. And I want you to set your own. I'm going to give you my exact filter criteria for high equity. It's really simple, but guys, this is what I use in my business. If you want to chase me down in Port St. Lucie, but you better make sure you're here local to beat my guys and gals, because very few people do as many deals as we do here locally. We're just really fast. I've been doing this 20 years, guys. I know every realtor. I know every broker. I know every contractor. I've done this business so long, I have taken the same house and flipped it 2 or 3 times. That's how long I've been doing this business. So it's, and I want you to have that ability to do it too. And I started out just like you guys did. So filters. So number 1 on the filters, I like to start with equity. So we just talked about equity. Don't pick equity dollars, pick equity percentages. Okay. I just find it to be a truer value. Now, here's where I want you to set it. You ready? You're going to set it for 40% or higher. I find over my last 20 years, anybody has 40% or less equity, they're a nightmare to negotiate with. I've tested everything down to as little as 15, 20%. The lower you set the equity number, the more calls you get, but the more drama you're going to get with it, and the less likely you are going to get a deal. So my starting number is 40%. When I first started doing this business, I was around 55 to 60%. I find 40% leaves me just enough room to make this deal work. Anything less is usually a nightmare. So if you have too many leads, increase it to 45% or 50%. It doesn't matter, but start with the equity percentage. That's what helps out first. The next thing you want to do is PropStream has this beautiful ability to filter properties that are on market on MLS, and you can take them off. Click that box. It will save you a ton of time and energy. It's not perfect, but you can't do this with any other service that I've ever tried with List. And that literally takes about 300 properties right off the bat. And about 100 of those people typically call me and give it to their realtor, which drives us nuts. So click off market properties. I love this feature, guys. It is absolutely amazing. Guys, this is recorded, so you can go back and do it. I know I'm not doing a screen share. I just don't want you to distract yourself from the basics of this. So the next one is you have an option for the type of owner to be an absentee owner or an owner occupied. Now, full disclosure, when I started doing this business back in 03, we only focused on absentee owners. Why? Listen, an absentee owner is basically someone that does not reside in the property, but they own it. So it usually means there's some sort of landlord, or they're using it as an Airbnb or maybe a second or a vacation home. With that being said, those most likely would have the higher probability of being able to sell. But as time goes on and the wholesaling environments change, I get a ton of deals of owner occupied. I'll be honest with you, I probably do as many, if not more, of owner occupied than I do absentee owner. And for this reason, I do not filter these anymore. So if you're doing a virtual market where you're focusing on like buying Airbnb properties, or you just want to focus on multifamilies, then I would suggest you can stick to absentee owner. That's fine. But you'll have a very limited list. And I find owner occupied, a lot of time these people are more open to doing a deal and they have more problems in life. Absentee owners are usually owners that are a little bit more financially responsible, and they don't really need to sell right away. And they don't, even when you tell them how bad the house is, they're not there and they don't care. So long as they're getting the rents. So I wouldn't filter this out at all. I would just leave it wide open. I used to start out with absentee owners, but if you're doing a virtual market and that's what you're focusing on, that's the only time I would check absentee owner only. Remember, owner occupied just means they're regular people in the house. And guys, that's mainly who we focus on and get the best deals from. So don't filter out. Now, I'm going to let you in a little secret here. There's this filter called unknown equity. And there was a big rave over this over the last 4 or 5 years. I'm here to tell you, I think it's all crap. I know that sounds terrible, but unknown equity means the computer can't figure out what the equity is, or there's something missing in the county data record in it. So they'll include it. So if you click unknown equity, you'll get about an extra 10 or 12% leads. This has never, ever, ever helped my operation. There is no way to test if it's real data or it's not. I've clicked it on, I've clicked it off. There's no way to parse the information. And for this reason, I'm telling you, the unknown equity has been like this ghost child climbing out in the community. Guys, let me know if anyone's had success only doing unknown equity. But honestly, we've tested the data. We can't find any difference if we click it or not. And for that reason, unknown equity, nobody's ever proven to me otherwise. If you have data to prove to me otherwise, show me. But what happened is 4 or 5 years ago, a quote guru came out and said, this is the greatest filter ever, but never shared any data. And here I am almost 5 years later, and no one shared any data. Now, I'm open to it. I want to believe in it. We all want a secret, but you know how I feel about secrets. A secret's a secret for a reason, because somebody wants something in return for you. So I've bought into that secret. It didn't help my business out at all. So heed the warning. If somebody ever tells you to click the unknown equity filter, which is an option, which in PropStream, and after talking to PropStream, you know why they put it in there? Because so many wholesalers talk about it, they just stick it in there. They can't even tell you if it's going to help you or not. So I recommend staying away from it. So, okay. The next one we're moving on is the number of years the property's owned by the homeowner. And so this is under the ownership. Why is this important? I don't want to be marketing to people that just bought the property yesterday for obvious reasons. I don't want to be marketing to wholesalers, flippers, landlords, stuff like that. So here's what I'm going to look for. In the old days when I got started, I looked for people who owned a property 10 years or more. So understanding that the average American only owns a property for 5 years or less. You heard that. It's just over 5 years. Yes, we have 30-year mortgages, and the average tenure of a home mortgage is 5 years or less. I think it's like 5.3 years. So I used to do 10 years. Now I set it at least 4 years, and I toggle between 4 and 5 years all the time. So prices have gone up so much in the last 3 to 4 years that it makes sense to, if somebody bought the house 4 or 5 years ago, you would buy it today. And that's how you want to set your years of ownership. 10 years is just too big of a span anymore. So I wouldn't do anything less than 4 years. You could probably do 3 years if you're looking for more leads, but you should get plenty of leads with 4 to 5 years or more. Why is that important? Because the longer they own the home, the odds are the higher probability they're going to sell it. I very rarely meet someone who bought a house like in a couple months and want to sell it. And for that reason, I kind of stay away from it. I have had it happen, but I don't like that. The next one you want to do on the type of ownership, we talk about values. Put a max value on it. And why? Because if the houses that are above your median price range, you're typically avoiding those anyway. So make sure you set in your filters under values your maximum price range. Sorry guys, I got to tickle my throat. This is where you can play with it, Lo. So if you put in like 200,000 and the number's too light, then you go to 220,000 and you just play around, and this will help you with the median range. You should already know what your price median is for your market. And the thing is, you don't want to be sending any type of marketing to somebody. Say if your average price point's 250, I'm not chasing people around for $500,000-$600,000 houses. Let's face it, those are usually more advanced buyers, and it takes a lot more drama to get them done. And if you've never done a deal that big, why are you going to start marketing for it now? So make sure you filter out values. Do not exceed what you potentially want to buy in your market for, and that will help shave your list down so you're not wasting money on it. Okay. Now, when we talk about ownership type, I only do 2 types. So you can do corporate owned properties, which I I try to avoid because those are typically going to be landlords and wholesalers. I like individuals, and trusts work really well. A lot of older people put properties in a trust to mitigate tax issues and estate planning. And for that reason, I love trust. So like you can never market enough to a trust. And eventually all trusts wind up selling. Ask me how I know, because I bought a ton of them. I've bought a ton of trusts. I very rarely buy corporate owned properties. At least through my marketing, I mostly get them like through realtors or just like word of mouth. So I'm going to let you in on another little secret. I work on these properties and I'm going to give you 20 years experience. And this is with CoreLogic and everything. I've never, very rarely, statistically, anybody who owns 4 homes or more, they don't do a lot of deals with you. Now, I've had them done, but I'm telling you, of the thousands of homes I do, I set a filter, and PropStream has a wonderful filter in here. If they own 4 or more homes, we filter them out, because I have areas where I have people that own hundreds and hundreds of homes. They have their own real estate agencies. It's just a waste of time marketing them. And here's what I find, guys. I'm just giving you 20 years experience. When I have an investor that owns like 60 or 70 homes, they will run you, especially if you're new, they will run you through the gamut and waste all your time trying to get valuations, get contracts out of you. And I promise you, in the end, they will always leave you at the curb. So I've spent hundreds of hours with these people. They're typically huge time wasters. So here's a little tip. If you have somebody who has 4 more houses, tell them to pick out one house, just one house. Don't ever make an offer on the entire batch. It never, ever works on single family homes. Pick out one house. Hopefully it's vacant, one needs work, and make an offer and see if it works. Then you can pursue the others. So many of you waste so much time trying to buy 12 houses at once. And the reality, he or she was never going to sell them to you anyway. So try to pick one. If they cooperate with you, then great. Then take the effort to make the offer on each one of them. But if you can't get them to take a little bit of a bite on one deal, how are you going to take down the whole enchilada? And I'm here to tell you, I like to filter out anybody who owns 4 or more properties because I just feel like they waste my time. If you're new to wholesaling, this filter will save you a lot of aggravation, because if you've ever got a phone call where somebody owns like 30 properties and you get so excited about it, and I'm that guy, dude, they will literally break your heart. They'll tell you everything you want to hear, and they suck you in, and you write contracts and they leave you at the altar. And very rarely, so whenever my team gets somebody who owns 4 more properties, I usually get involved pretty quick. And here's the same strategy for every one of them. Take down what their hardest, most difficult property and see if they cooperate. If they do, then let's have a great conversation. Let's bring them in the office. Let's talk to them. Let's go out and meet them. But I find most of the time they're literally just trying to get free information from you. So the high equity list, guys, basically with those filters I just showed you right there, it works wonderful. I'm going to give you one other list, and I'm going to let you know that most of the filters are the exact same. Okay. This is the vacant list. PropStream has a vacant list. Where does this vacant list derive from? It derives from HUD, which HUD gets the information from the USPS, which is the United States Postal Service. Now, everybody gets all the data from the same place. No one has an upper hand. So I don't care if you use this guy's service. I don't care if you use Batch, FreedomSoft, whatever it is. Fipster, what, all these names of these places, it all comes from the same place. So nobody has a technical advantage. Now, I like to pull this data. I make sure I go through all my filters and get through it. And the main thing is I pull the list quarterly. I don't pull it every month because most of the houses wind up being the same. And if you can just pick 1 or 2 off of there, you will do amazing things. The list rotates a lot more quarterly. On a monthly basis, every 3 months is the only time I pull it. So I've tried pulling it every month. It's almost the identical list. So it'll change a little bit. So worst case scenario, if you're just starting out, I would pull at least once or twice a year at the bare minimum. And then if you can do it per quarter, you can do amazing things with it. So guys, these are just 2 simple lists. I could go on for hours, and I'm going to do more videos on more specialized lists. But these are when you get up and going, you've gotten deals off driving for dollars. Maybe do some reverse driving for dollars to get those deals. But if you want to add a steady stream of leads, this is where you can easily incorporate some sort of door knocking policy. You can do cold calling with any of these strategies. Remember, you just have to skip trace the list. You could do an SMS campaign, or worst case scenario, if you want to do direct mail, I only recommend doing that after you've done at least a few deals and get some money in your pocket. But guys, I never stop these lists. I've been doing this 20 years. I never, ever stop. And guess what? I've never, ever run out of deals. So always figure out what you do that works and keep doing it, and then keep adding stones, tools to your war chest, and use the tools that work. And some tools you have to give a little bit more time to work. As I said, with direct mail, it takes a quarter to get direct mail kicking and going, especially when you start from zero. Cold calling, SMS, a little bit faster, but once you figure it out, you get it going. So if you've done driving for dollars and it works for you, don't stop doing it. That's the biggest mistake. If you stop doing that to do your high equity list, that's crazy. So that's like me fishing in a spot in the ocean and then going to another spot, leave those biting fish to try to buy new biting fish. It never works out for me when I do that. So if you guys fish at all, you understand exactly what I'm talking about. Real estate's the same way. If you have people biting in a pond, just go get more bait and keep fishing there. So rarely have I gone where it's left and it's worked. And so many times we do all these fancy things. Get a great foundation for finding motivated sellers and just keep building on it. And here's the key. Some of the stuff you add to it will work. Some of the stuff, it just doesn't work. And you got to take your data and look at it. And guys, be very careful. Do not go on the internet and just start asking questions. So I see so many of you, and I'm all about being part of all the social media groups. I'm part of them too. And I love to provide feedback and talk to them. But you guys who post the same question in 5 groups, you're going to get 5 different types of answers. And you have no idea the person answering that question has any qualifications to give you direction. So if you take direction from a guy or gal who's sitting in their basement that's never even done real estate telling you it's not going to work. Like one of my favorite is, oh, direct mail doesn't work and it's very expensive. I tried it. I've been doing it 20 years. It works perfect for me. Is it expensive? Yeah, I spend a little bit of money, but I'll spend $5,000 to make $50,000 all day long. I get an 8 to 10 times ROI on my direct mail. So when people come up to me and say, Rick, direct mail doesn't work, that's fine. If it doesn't work for you, if you can't stomach it, that's fine. If you get upset to spend $5,000 to $10,000 to make 50, then move on. Like, I'm sorry. Here's the reality in direct mail. I'll spend $5,000 to make 50, but it takes me 2 or 3 months to get my money back. So if you want a 30-day turnaround for a 10 times return, you're probably going to have to go to Vegas for it, and you're probably not going to come out ahead. So when someone tells you it doesn't work, you better dig deep if you want to take advice. Only take advice from people that you want to be in their shoes. And that goes for anything in life, relationships. Listen, I know this is going to be controversial. Some of you younger people out there, I want you to respect your parents, but if they're not financially where you think they should be, and remember, you're a little bit young to be judging your parents on it, but if they're struggling in a 9-to-5 job and they're struggling to get bills paid, then you have to look for answers because your parents didn't provide you the solution. It doesn't mean you disrespect them. I'm just telling you, I wish I went on this journey when I was in my 18s. I didn't figure it out till my 30s, guys. So that's it on PropStream. I could go on all day on PropStream. We've got a million videos. And if you go to wholesaling, freewholesaling.com, I'll put it up here. We walk through on how to do all the secrets. They're not secrets. You guys know I don't use that word. All the tricks and trades of using PropStream in your account. And if you guys go to listrei.com, you can get a 7-day free trial. Guys, use it. Don't use it. I don't care what you do. I'm just telling you, it's not required. But to me, it's like having an employee. So you're going to pay an employee $2,000 to $4,000 a month to sit in an office, and you pay someone $97 to pull this data for you. I'll take the $97 all day long. And remember, you get 10,000 leads with it. So let's jump into the comments and let's help some people out here answer some questions. I am going to jump back up to the top because we got a lot of questions today. Guys, let me know what market you guys in because it really helps me out. And let's see if we can help some people out. So once again, guys, if you're new to this channel, my name is Rick. My son is Zach, and we have a 7-figure wholesale operation here in South Florida. I've been doing this 20 years. I taught Zach at 17 how to flip houses while he was in high school, while he was on the wrestling team. And he did this job while he was away at college because, let's face it, guys, college is just an extension of your education. It's not going to teach you how to survive in business. That's my opinion. Some of you might think I'm wrong, but I've lived through it. So, what's up, Leo? What's up, Olivia? Now, Olivia, I always see you on here. I appreciate you. What's up, Fernando? Shauna just started her free trial today. So just go into it, and you want to just take time to learn the tutorials. But guys, just so you know, there's no secrets. You get a 7-day free trial period. It's $97 after that. You get 10,000 leads for that. So someone do a calculation on the cost of those leads. That comes to what, like a penny a lead? I used to pay 22 cents through CoreLogic. That's how bad it was before. I used to pay $1.50 for skip tracing. Guys, this is when none of it existed. I would have killed for some of these services. So what's up, guys? What's up, Phil? Okay, let's get into the questions here. Uh-oh. What's up, Corey? See, Corey's a smart guy. He's doing lots of business. And I love what Corey's doing. He took action on our information, and he does phenomenal. Says, took a break from mowing to stop and hit that like. So Corey, you're getting to the position where you shouldn't be mowing your own lawn. So by the way, I'm a guy who mowed my lawn forever. It was like a pride thing. I think my father taught it to me. And then I figured out when I started making money, I go, what's my time really worth? And I haven't mowed a lawn since then. But I do like to kind of go out and mow a lawn because I kind of like to get out hot and sweaty. But I try to take that time to go fishing now. So Corey's a guy who takes action. He has fun. Corey, I don't want you mowing any more lawns. I'm just telling you, it's so much easier to pay someone to mow your lawn. And I know no one's going to mow it as good as you do. That was always my theory. But like after a while, it's like, move on. The sooner you guys figure that out, the better off you'll be. But we got to do what we got to do. So I appreciate it, Jose. What's up, Sandra? Jill says, has anyone taken Tariq's mentorship? I don't know. I know he's like a TV star, and but keep in mind, guys, Tariq doesn't do wholesaling. That's a whole different type of business. Fix and flip is a whole different type of business. It is a highly, highly risky business, and most people get burned in the long run on it. So, what's up, Michelle? How you doing? See, Olivia, look at this. Thank you so much. She's no longer a W-2 employee anymore. So that's awesome. I mean, listen, I waited till almost 34 to get to that point. So I did it kind of later in life. It doesn't matter when you do it as long as you do it. I mean, KFC came up. He came up with that at what, 67 or 65? And then I was seeing somebody came up with an incredible brand the other day at 74. So guys, age is just a number. And honestly, the more experience you have, the better off you are in the long run. But the sooner you start, the sooner you can get the experience and get through it. And it works. And guys, all you people that are helping out, Olivia, Corey, all this, you're now responsible for the people you're in charge of. So if you have any type of kids, nieces, and nephew, take the time and try to figure out how you can influence them to make great financial decisions to put themselves in a better position. They did a study the other day. You ready for this? 53% of Americans are financially illiterate, meaning they don't understand a bank account. They don't understand the stock market. They have no idea about bonds. I mean, other stuff's just completely out the window. Real estate blows them away. 53% of Americans. So something's failing us. Is it the school that's failing? Is the parents? At the end of the day, we can't depend on schools to teach our kids everything. Okay. I think times have changed with schooling. I think it's got to be more and more on the parent. And you're finding a lot of homeschooling options a lot more. These schools all have agendas. Everything seems to be like politically motivated. So please take inventory of what you're teaching your child and understanding the financial part I 100% guarantee you they will not learn it in school. So what better person than to learn from you? And if you're just figuring out your finances now, that's fine. But teach your kids just to be aware of it and awake, because when they get older, if they avoid finances, by the time they're 16, 17, 18, they're horrified by it. And that's how they get in these credit card debts, these ridiculous student loans. Nobody teaches kids about student loans, and you can really have a huge financial impact on them. So guys, we got to help people out. I mean, there's like over $2 trillion in student loans, and there's nothing to show for it. So, Jordan says, where can I find a purchase agreement? Go to freewholesaling.com. It's flashing across the bottom. Register there, and you can download one of our contracts there. I haven't been able to find one. It's there, I promise you. Really, a buyer that I've been grinding for buyers because I don't even have a contract. So, Jordan, now you know where to get a contract. Go to freewholesaling.com. Justin, I appreciate you smashing the like button. Anybody else can smash the like button. This helps the algorithm get these types of videos out to people that want to get started in wholesaling and want to learn more about wholesaling, or actually want to learn wholesaling for free the way it should be taught. Guys, there's no secrets in wholesaling. Anyone who tries to charge you to learn wholesaling, make sure they have a massive amount of experience, 20 years plus, because I give the whole thing away for free. So I don't want you to have to go through the same. I had to go through 4 or 5 mentors to get all the stuff I needed to do. And now, honestly, you can just find everything online. It wasn't available in 2003 when I do this. This is why I've made it so easy for everyone to go to freewholesaling.com. It's the best way to do it. So, I appreciate it, Kip. By the way, there's tons of mentorship out there. I'm friends with most of them. I think everybody provides value, but the problem with wholesaling is, to me, it's such a basic skill. It's like learning your ABCs. If you can learn it for free from somebody with 20 years plus experience, and I taught my own son, who's basically runs my operations, and we run an active wholesaling business, meaning I don't travel all the country doing speaking engagements because, number one, very few people want me on a stage because I would destroy most of the other speakers up there, because I'm going to tell them, I'm just going to give you everything for free. So you understand why I wouldn't speak on a stage. Out of respect to the other speakers, they're going to starve if they can't sell their coaching program. So I get it. Number two, I want you to understand, on a mentorship, when someone's teaching you, the biggest thing they tell you is not to trade your time for money. Well, if your mentor is trading their time for money to teach hundreds, if not thousands of students, they're actually going against their own philosophy. I talk to tons of mentors out there, and here's the one complaint I get from every one of them. They are overwhelmed with coaching. They're tired of the same old questions being asked. And I'm like, if you're overwhelmed with it, why did you offer it in the first place? A lot of them spend 30, 40, 50 hours a week on Zoom calls. And for that reason alone, it's not that I'm scared to do it. It's not a mentorship. It's just group coaching, and it's very, very watered down. How can I help 50 people on one Zoom for an hour? Like, it's impossible. I'd have to take an hour with each one of those person to even get them started. So I'm not knocking on it, but there's only so far you can scale coaching. And nobody ever wants to talk about this. When you try to scale coaching, somebody eventually is going to get hurt. Usually the mentor gets burnt out, because you guys know people in this business, they had huge wholesaling operations coaching. Guess what? They're not in it anymore. Why? Because it just got so overwhelming. And you know what? They get tired of like repeating themselves and doing stuff like that. Number two, what value are you going to get if 50 other people are on the line? Seriously. Like, oh, but I get unlimited emails. Who's answering those emails? And for full disclosures, most of these coaching programs, they take their best students and they wind up being the teachers on it. And then the main guy or gal comes on like once a week. So if you guys are going to do any type of mentorship, make sure you can review the contract agreement up front and find out how many people are in the program, how long the program lasts, and how many people are going to be on the Zoom meetings, and make sure you evaluate it with apples for apples. If you're good with it, then go for it. I have no problem with it. I'm just saying, when it comes to wholesaling, if I'm going to teach it for free, you might as well master it, and then you can decide what to do from there. So, by the way, we don't just teach wholesaling. I teach the whole gamut for real estate investing. I just feel like if you will focus on wholesaling in the beginning, amazing things can happen, because that's where you're going to find the deepest, best deals out on the market today. And that's why I recommend going to freewholesaling.com. So I appreciate it, Kip. Thank you. So Ben says, hey, Rick, how do you determine the virtual market? What qualifies it and what do you look for? So number one, if I'm living in a high metropolitan area like LA, maybe downtown New York, maybe I'm in South Beach, Miami, like really, really, like DC is a challenging place too, and you're just starting out and maybe you're 18, I get it. A little bit of an uphill battle. Now, I'm not saying you don't do those markets. I'm just saying you need to spend the time and get familiar with those markets, so when that deal comes down, you can take it down. Now, I'm okay with you picking a virtual market. So the best thing you want to do is go to listrei.com through PropStream, and you can search for hot areas of activity. So if you look on your screen, you'll see a chart in the upper right-hand corner, and you can look for what they call hot areas. And you'll see it transitions from green to yellow to red. And this tool alone will help you out. Now, this tool takes a little bit of time to learn, but it's no big deal. And they got plenty of tutorials there. The other way you can learn how to do it is just the old school way. And we call it reverse wholesaling. And basically, you find, try to become part of every social media group that has to do with wholesaling. Try to pick out some markets that maybe you feel that are right. How you pick that's completely up to you. It's not up to me, but find the market is. So like, say if you picked Knoxville, Tennessee, I would join every Knoxville wholesale group and I start figuring out, and then I would sign up for every wholesaler's buyers list. And when they put out those buyers lists, I want you to track it, and they'll have deals with the zip code on there, and you just reverse engineer it. If the one bad thing we are as wholesalers is it's such a great business to be in. Like, we all have this bragging, like it's called an ego. And the more you go out there and you don't vet your cash buyers list, which most wholesalers don't do there. So they'll either send you a text, or they're going to send you a mass SMS text, or they're going to send you a mass email. Dude, a lot of them put 9 or 10 deals on one page. I just take all the zip codes, I write them down, and I start tracking it. After a while, I know where the gold is. I don't even have to spend any money to figure out. I just start marketing there. And that's the best way, Ben, to find the hottest virtual markets. The old way is we used to have to go out there and test data, either cold call, SMS, or direct mail. Today, I'm telling you right now, if you have a wholesaler that really wants to brag about how many deals they do, take advantage of it, because they're just giving away their marketing dollars when they do that. So I'm a strong advocate for vetting all your cash buyers so you don't do the exact same thing. And I would take advantage of that. So good question. Mark says, hey, Rick, recently turned 21. Awesome. Trying to learn my first wholesale deal this year. Are you able to use PropStream for SMS text blasting, or is that batch leads? So you can pull your list through PropStream, but if you go over to Zach Data, some people like to use batch. Now, batch is a little bit different because you can incorporate your skip tracing and everything built in, and some people like it for that reason. So you can use Zach Data or listrei.com. You got to find out which ones you like better. PropStream, you can get the list, but you're going to have to go take that list and skip trace it. So if you like using batch for skip tracing, just use zachdata.com, and you can do that all in-house. And it's going to cost you a little bit more, but you get a little bit better deal if you do it through batch. So PropStream is really strictly for just pulling lists. I don't do my skip tracing through Prop. I just don't. So I don't have advice to give it to you there. So you could pull it out of PropStream and then skip trace it through another service, or you can use batch to do the whole thing. And that's why some people like to use batch. For the record, guys, we recommend using both. We use both for our business. Now, we do a lot of business, a lot of multiple markets. You only need one. For the average person starting out, you don't need both. I would pick just one. And remember, these tools are not a requirement to get started in wholesaling. I did it long before I did this. I just got it directly from the county. So, so Corey says here, I love PropStream, but I prefer batch tracing data. It's a breeze, and the export lists over. And you know what? He's right on that. So the reason I tell you guys PropStream through listaria.com, if you're just getting started in the beginning, honestly, it's just easier. But if you guys want to use batch just to show you I'm neutral, I don't own any of these companies, I just use their services, use it. Corey's right. But Corey's got some deals on his belt, and he's probably tried both to figure them all out. And you got to use the one that fits your business the best on that. So I'll leave that up there for a little bit. And as I said, whatever is going to help you guys out, that's what I want you to use. I find once you start using one of them, you get used to it, usually stick to it. So, Mark, you are asking me questions semi-live, so just go ahead and type it in there, and I'll be happy to answer it. Sandra asked, where's Eskimo? He showed up briefly yesterday, but he went away. So we were hoping we could do the role playing on the cold calling, but he wasn't there. But we're encouraging him to come back. Okay, let's see here. Nick, a fellow Fort Lauderdalean. Yeah, boy, I tell you, Nick, it's really changed down there, man. It's like turning into like a mini New York. They're building vertical. So I live about an hour and a half north, just because the crowd's just too much down there. So I like to live near the water and have a boat always ready to go. But I do love Fort Lauderdale, man. It's just so crowded now. So crowded. Irma says he likes batch too. So so Kip, I'm telling you right now, to show you guys the PropStream data and the batch data, you guys are kidding yourself. You don't think it's coming from the same place. So I don't really have that problem. So by the way, all that data is going to be dated somewhat, usually within 30 days, but it has to have time to repopulate and be cyclical, meaning it has to update. The only way it can update is off the county records. The problem is a lot of the county records are slow to update. So a lot of times these delays aren't really PropStream or batches problems. It's the county. So let me give you an example. One of the counties I work in, I flipped the property 2 months ago and it still doesn't show up in property records. So we can't blame PropStream for that or batch for that. But then I had a property I just flipped last Thursday in another county, and it's already showed up in the property records, and I checked PropStream, it already showed up. So a lot of times the delays, honestly, it's a county issue. It's not so much PropStream. Usually about every 30 days, the data will be updated. So I don't spend a lot of time. Honestly, if one updates a week before the other, like what's the real advantage? I don't know. David says, in a city of 15,000 people, what list do you take us for? I always look at high equity because it's easy. Like it's just the easiest one. After that, I'm going to look at the vacants, and then I'm going to go to all my off-market lists, code violations, any type of government lists from the county, foreclosures, evictions, divorces, probate. You know where I feel with that, and you can start to get filled. 15,000 is not a lot, but I promise you, there's leads in there. So I work at a county that only has 20,000, so it's not like the end of the world to me. I always find deals. There will be less, but a lot of times that small time feel, you have better chances of building rapport with the people there because you know the nuances of that small city. So Ryan says, what do you say to a seller that asks, where did you find this number at? And actually, Zach came up with this. So Zach is the cold calling expert. He's like, hey, basically my partner drove by that house and thought it'd be a great house we could buy. Are you interested in selling that house? So once you blame the third party and they go, oh my God, he drove by and picked up the address, they're not going to fight you on it anymore because there's no law against driving by your house. Now, when you tell them, I got you off this list and it said you're going to be motivated because you have a code violation, they're probably going to hang up on you. So using a clever comment like that, although at some point, I'm sure you or your partner is driven by the house by accident anyways, but just saying, listen, we drove by the house and it seems like a great house to buy. It deflects off like, how did you get my number? Because people, like, you're in a world where anybody can get your number. If you really want Rick Ginn's phone number, you can pay to get it. You're not going to get far with it. So it's whenever my number gets abused, I just change it. It's just easier in life, and I make sure it's a clean number that like some deadbeat didn't have before. But if you want someone's information, you can get it. Using that trick helps out a lot. So Michelle's commenting on the pre-probates, which, by the way, I like in PropStream. The only ones I know that does it. It's not a perfect list. I'll be the first to admit it to you. I've had people pop on there. I've actually bought their house before. So the pre-probate just focuses on people that have passed away on a death record and they own a property within that county. Now, the advantage of that is I want you guys to understand a lot of properties that typically would go through probate, 50 plus % of them get out of probate. It's usually some sort of homestead law. Sometimes there's rights of survivorship. I'm not going to go through the legalities of it. Sometimes they're trusts and they're pulled out. A pre-probate would catch everybody or anybody who died that owned a property, and that's why I like it. So I agree, Michelle. It's not completely accurate, but for you to go and pull every records would literally cost you days and days of worth of work and a lot of money. So Leah, if you think the stuff's outdated, here's what I'm going to tell you to do. Go to your county and pull the records. Like it's that everybody on this live right now, you have the ability to go to your county records and pull the data. They might charge you $25 to $100 for the data, but you have the right to those records. Then you have to take the data. Hopefully they give it to you in a CSV file and you have to go sort the data. If you don't know how to do pivot tables and sort data, here's a cheat sheet. You can go to Fiverr or you can go to Upwork and you can, I like Fiverr better. You can pay someone between $10 and $20, give them instructions how you want the list sorted, and usually in 24 hours, you get it back. It's that simple. I learned a long time ago, I'm a terrible Excel expert, and it's just much easier to pay 10, 20, 50, $100, I don't even care, and tell them exactly what I'm trying to get out of the list. And then that way it gets done. I don't get frustrated. I don't spend days working on it, and I can actually make calls and get results from that list. So MJ asked, what's a good equity percentage? 40% plus or more. That I just go below it. It's just like a disaster. So remember, the average cost to sell a property is between 12 and 15%. So if they have 40% equity, it means they can pay for the closing costs and still have money to walk away from it. So that's what you want to do with it. Watching from BK. It's not British Columbia. Somebody tell me what BK is. Joel says, guys, watch Rick's How to Give a Lowball Offer. That video really cleared up stuff for me, so I'm glad it helped you. Guys, I want you to understand that it's not really about lowball offers. It's about just going for the initial no. The reason you want to get that initial no is it will be a tell-all of where your negotiations are going to wind up. So the worst feeling in the world, and I'm telling you, I've had this happen so many times to me, is when I go in, I make an offer and say, I go, okay, I'll offer you $85,000 for the house. They reach out and shake their hand with a smile. I go, that would be dandy, Rick. And I just sit there and I rub my head because now I know I can't ask for a discount. I know I just left a ton of money on the table, and that was a lot more than they expected to get. So here's my strategy. If somebody shakes your hand after you gave an offer, you offered too much. So the fail safe for this is to make an offer and almost feel like you're insulting them a little bit, but understanding that that's not where you're going to wind up. It's to pull the intel, the information out of them so you can get the best deal possible. So on that deal, it's like, listen, I've looked at all the numbers. There's a lot going on in this house. If I just offered you, I don't know, like 55,000, is that something we can work with? And I have the cash there to get it closed, and just shut up. And one or two things are going to happen. They're either going to go, well, listen, I can't go below 65, which is what I'm trying to get to it, or they're going to tell you, you're absolutely nuts, Rick. That's crazy. I should kick you out for that offer. I go, oh, listen, okay, well, let's kind of go through it, walk through the numbers, and I probably do a little bit better, but you've got to work with me here. And so you want to open it up. So many of you guys are going out there, taking the first offer, getting excited, locking it up in a contract, and then you go to sell it. Then your pain starts. Why? Because you go, hey, Rick, I have a deal and I can't sell it. The number one reason you can't sell it is because you paid too much for it, because you avoided the hard conversation up front, the uncomfortable conversation of getting a good negotiations. I get it. I've done the same thing too. I made a lot of mistakes. So if you go for that no up front, it gives you the ability, although it's difficult, it makes you feel uncomfortable. It makes your seller a little uncomfortable. But once you get through it, they'll wind up being your best friends. And walking out of there, you're easily going to walk away with a huge paycheck. And remember, they're fine with it. A negotiation takes two. I always want a win-win situation. I want to make a bunch of money, and the seller wants to walk away with a certain amount. And when you sell it to your new buyer, they want it for a certain dollar amount. So you got to fight for everybody in the transaction. So Joel, I appreciate it. Thank you. Let's see here. What's up, Amy? She's in Indiana. She says, thanks for the free info. It's always free here at Flip with Rick. I got somebody in Orlando. I got Amy with the emojis. I love it. I'm just reading here, guys. I'm not the fastest reader. Claire says, thanks for all the encouragement yesterday. So if you guys don't know, on Thursday, me and Zach come on in here, do a 2-hour live, and we do a mastermind, and we bring you on live, and we try to break down your business and see how we can help you out. And we do it all for free, 100%. You just got to be registered at our Wholesaling Houses for Real. If you guys have not gone online to visit us, we have, I believe, the most active Facebook wholesaling group today. And by the way, Facebook measures how many people are active in the group. And according to our stats, we have the most active group of them all, because we answer every question. And the best part about our group is all spammers get kicked to the curb. So we don't allow gurus in there. And if you have something to sell, or you don't provide value to the group, you get kicked to the curb. So all you people trying to sell a certain coin, or, hey, I joined 1 day ago and now I'm going to spam the heck out of you, we just eliminate you. I think we've eliminated 6,000 people because they never had intentions of helping out. They just want to take. The worst thing you can do in the world, in my opinion, is go on the internet and spam groups to sell something and offer no value. It's just as bad when the days when we got spam with email. Why do people try to grow businesses like this? You just turn off and piss off people. So, but join a free wholesaling. It's Wholesaling Houses for Real, and you can join there. And then you have the ability every Thursday to come on and do masterminds with us. And Zach on Tuesday and Wednesday, he does marketing breakdown for you guys. So guys, go over there and register. It's a great way to get to know people that are trying to accomplish the exact same thing you guys are. So let's see here. So Joel, aka Eskimo, you can't get stuff directly from a HUD because you have to be a nonprofit, and it's a pain in the butt. So the list, the best way, in my opinion, is to get them through PropStream. There's a lot of list providers out there that'll sell you, and they tell you all their data is different. It all comes from the same place, guys. I've seen it. I've worked to get this list. The paperwork's endless. And they do all these like 501(c)(3)s and 501(c)(6)s to get these lists. And then they just work around and resell the data. So everyone's lying to each other anyway. So honestly, it's the easiest way to get the list. And remember, minimum twice a year, if not like once a quarter. You don't need to pull it every month. So Scranton in the house. What's up, me? Scranton is that's The Office, right? That's Dunder Mifflin. So we can talk about Dunder Mifflin today. I wish we could get Dwight on here. I think Dwight would probably make the best wholesaler. Um, listen. I would give up a lot to have Dwight on this show with me. So anybody knows Dwight through the office at Scranton, I just find him funny. So, says any tips on virtual for Jacksonville? Yeah, just do it. Like get the data and do it. Like there's no tips, just do it. If that once you pick your market, just go for it and do it. Like it's you can think it till you turn blue. It doesn't matter. Charlie, that's up to you. It's a personal decision. I'm not going to kind of point you either way. Batch is a little bit better on the skip tracing, and I think it's a little more cost effective, but you got to pay a little bit more upfront. So each has its own. That's why we give you two choices. And anybody who says I only use PropStream, I don't get it. Like I don't own the companies, guys. I just try to use companies that provide value. So I'll give you a couple rules on data. And this is just my opinion. It doesn't mean it's right, but I only want to buy data from companies that are big, that have a big presence, because they're going to, why? Because I know they're going to be there tomorrow. Number two, they're rarely going to sell. And if they sell, they have to sell the entire package. And number three, I get really good customer service. And that's what I like to do. When you have individuals that own, and I'm not knocking them, a lot of them are friends, but if you have individuals that own small data companies, I promise you, at some point they will be sold for big bucks and you will have a lot of changes coming down your throat. And guess who's going to wind up buying the smaller companies? These bigger companies like PropStream and Batch, they'll eventually wind up that they'll buy their market share into it. So you might as well just be part of the bigger market now. That's just my opinion. But eventually, any person that owns a company that wants to scale it, they're scaling it so they can eventually sell it. And I've watched it happen time and time again. I'm fine with it. I'm all about the capitalism in the world, but the smaller the company, the more you're going to struggle with customer service and innovation. And that's my problem with that. So, and boy says my two best deals came from direct mail. So it's proof that direct mail works. Remember, you don't have to start out with direct mail. And if you've never done direct mail before, do me a favor. I give you a head-to-head tutorial on it. It's basically a course. It's called mailingmastery.com. Teach you how to make 100K in mailing mastery. And here's the best part. It's 100% free. Like, guys, who gives away this much stuff for free? I got everybody telling me in the community, like, Rick, you are killing us. You and Zach, you just keep giving the house away. And you know what? Dude, we've just scratched the surface, man. We have so much stuff planned for this year that I'm making everybody in the wholesaling world wake up, and you've got to start being innovative. You cannot keep doing what your mentors taught you to do 20 years ago and survive in today's market. And I'm telling you, let everybody else zig. I'm just going to zag, because this is what I do. I'm an innovator, and I've really come up with products that have put me way ahead of every other wholesaler, in my opinion, and I continue to do it. So when I got out of real estate education in 2013, 14, when I saw what was happening, there was a reason, and I'm looking towards the future. I don't want to run with the pack. Running with the pack is how you get in trouble. We've all learned that, okay? You know exactly what I'm talking about. So by me doing something completely different than every other educator out there in the field, you got to either I'm absolutely crazy, right? Either I've lost my marbles and I've gone off the edge, or I see something that nobody else sees. And I'm telling you, me and Zach see it. And if you guys want to be part of the ride, join in, because I'm taking you for free. Okay. I have nothing to hide. I'm completely transparent. I show you how I do this. I do wholesaling. We do a 7-figure business and we love it every day. I love this business. I've been doing this 20 years and I'm not going anywhere. And Zach, he's only 22. You know, he's not going anywhere. So if you guys like the whole father-son connection thing and the company we run with, I like being lean. I like to make a lot of money, and I like to help people out. And if that resonates with you, and I like to be authentic and just tell you the way it is instead of all this like slick marketing out there. So many of you guys are being lied to. And at some point, the truth always comes out. And that's like, so if I just tell you the truth now, in 2 or 3 years, you're like, you know what, Rick was right. Like he guided me through this and he got through it. Guys, we're going to go through some tough times in real estate working down the road here. And I'm telling you, me and Zach will be the most prepared to get you through it because we weren't charging you when the market was at its tippy top. I promise you, the entire real estate education field will turn over when the market turns over. I'll still be here. So at 2013, 14, I decided to get out of the what I call the freak show of wholesaling coaching because I saw people coaching from $27 up to $30,000. I mean, what gives? Like these prices are all over the board. So I could care less what someone charges. All you have to do is look at the value they provide you, and you have to determine the value. Do not determine the value by sitting in someone's seminar for an hour or two and go, that was the most amazing. All you heard was the positive. You didn't hear the mechanics of what you're actually going to have to do every day. So anyways, check out that mailingmastery.com. It's all in there for you. And if you guys want to learn direct mail, I'm the absolute master at it. So Dig says, hey, Rick, I'm about to send out some direct mail out to pre-foreclosures on the DNC list. How long should I keep mailing to this list? So typically on a foreclosure, I would do once every 30 days for a maximum 6 months. After that, they're usually gone. So these people need a lot of touches. So it's not uncommon for them to avoid the mail, avoid the phone calls. So pre-foreclosures are some of the toughest people to get a hold of. The best way if you're going to deal with pre-foreclosures, if you got the guts to do it, is to do what we call reverse driving for dollars, where you take that same list, you put a sticky in the door, call me, I got a quick question for you, and usually have a very high contact rate. You got to understand, most people in pre-foreclosure, they're avoiding their mail like the plague because they're usually late bills or notices, and they don't like that. So, so Charlie, once again, it's going to be a personal decision what you want to do. A lot of people are completely committed to PropStream with listrei.com, and that's fine. People like it because it's a fixed budget. They get 10,000 leads, and it's very predictable. And it's going to be cheaper than any employee you'll ever get off Upwork or Fiverr or anything like that. If you want to take your list out of there and take them over to SkipTrace, I believe they got a better deal for SkipTrace. You know, I'm fine for it. So just figure out what's best for you. This is why we provide you guys 2 solutions. And I know it's not the most popular thing. I know that Batch and PropStream would prefer we do one, but when we were cornered in position, we told we're going to let the viewers decide which ones they want to use. And for the most part, it's kind of like a 50-50 down the middle. So whatever like you resonate with, like Corey has certain needs and he wants it all built in house, and that's fine. You're going to spend a little bit more money on Batch, but he gets a better discount. If you're just going to use Prop to pull your 10,000 list and do comps, then that's perfect too. There's no one size that fits all in wholesaling, guys. And you need to do what's best for you to get you up and running to make your first 100 grand. So, Dick says, thanks for the feedback. And Boy says, a lot of gurus say direct mail doesn't work because they don't get affiliate links from it. So, guys, direct mail works. Is it old and antiquated? Yeah, I'm the first to tell you that. But I will tell you, if I want to send out 10,000 pieces of direct mail, I get my list. I go in the PropStream or Batch, whichever you want to do. I pull my list, I filter it, and then I take that list, I download it. I go over to my mailing vendor. If you go to Mailing Mastery or freewholesaling.com, I have all the stuff in there for you. So you guys don't have to figure out, give you the best pricing. And then I click a button and it all goes out. I don't even think about it, guys. We just answer the phones. I follow up with my sales staff, and it's 100% legal. I cannot go to jail. I cannot get it into trouble as long as I don't make some crazy offer. It's never going to fix. It's never going to change. So the only gurus that say direct mail doesn't work are just, all they are is selling you courses. I'm telling you right here, I've been doing this 20 years. I do this today. I make 8 to 10 times ROI on direct mail in today's market. So any guru that tells you that just means they're trying to steer you to maybe push like an affiliate sales course. For the record, we do get affiliate sales here at Flip with Rick, but we only support products we use in our business. So I would only sell you something I 100% believe in. Okay. I 100% believe in what me and Zach sell. Our course is for free. And if you want to use the products that we recommend in between, it's great. It's the same amount if you went and bought it on your own. The only difference is we provide you training, we answer your questions, and very few people will take the time me and Zach do to show you how to use it. Remember, the whole goal is get you up and running in wholesaling. So direct mail works. It's not for everyone. I get it. But like if you start direct mail today, you probably won't get a paycheck for 2 or 3 months. It's just how it works sometimes. Sometimes you get it right off the bat. But within 1 quarter, I always get my money back on direct mail. I haven't stopped direct mail since 2003, guys. I've never stopped doing it. And I still do it in today's market. So it's all personal experience. Once you get it good at it, you master it, it's fine. If you ask someone who only tried direct mail once, they're going to tell you you're going to fail miserably at it. That's the same person that played basketball once or twice and said, it's too hard to do. They didn't put in the 10,000 hours practice like I did. So, okay. So Sandra asked, how often are you mailing things out? Go to mailingmastery.com. I explain on how you're doing it. It just depends on who you're targeting. If you're doing pre-foreclosures, if you're doing probates, if you're doing high equity, you're doing vacants. Every list is a little bit different. And that course goes in detail. And here's a really cool course. The course is 100% free. It's free. So you don't have to go to like somebody else's like speaking engagement. Guys, you never have to go to I'm never going to have a seminar for you, because why am I going to take the time and energy to set up a hotel room, give you this speech story, spend 10 grand to get you in there, because I'd have to charge you a lot of money to get my money back. So I rather connect with you almost on a daily basis and just help you be successful and get rid of the pomp and circumstance. Dude, I'm at an age at 52. My ego is silenced. I don't care. Most people speak at events out of their ego, because when a speaker goes to these events, they have to pay for their own hotel room. They don't get paid to speak. And the only way they get paid is they share in the course sales, whoever hosts the event. And since I don't really charge anything, there's nothing for me to share. Therefore, I do get invites to speak, but I told them you're going to lose all your speakers if I go there, because I'm going to take over the stage and I'm going to tell them you don't need to pay for these services. I just teach you. I'll take this hour and a half and I'll teach you how to do wholesaling for free. The difference to me is I'll teach in an hour and a half how to do wholesaling. They'll spend an hour and a half trying to sell you on getting in their coaching program on how you'll be successful in 6 months down the road. That's the difference between me and gurus. I just dive into it, means that get it done. We do not waste time pitching you or doing a discovery call. I just don't do that. And not all gurus do that. And I give kudos to gurus that don't have it. People that have a discovery call, they're trying to discover how much money you have in your wallet so they can try to maximize on it as much as possible. It's just a clever marketing thing. And keep in mind, if you're dealing with somebody on the other side of the phone, they're getting a large percentage of the commission. So you're paying for their commission. So it's like buying a fancy car or like a fancy boat. I promise you, the salesman's kissing your butt so they can get their commission, and that's it. They could care less if you're happy in the boat, if it's going to work out for you. They just want to get you paid. So. Hey, Charlie, I remember you, and I'll send him a message right now. So I'm going to tell him Charlie's getting on me. Charlie wants his info for UF wholesaler. Is that good, Charlie? That's pretty good. Zach should follow up with that. So sometimes we screw up. I just told him you're on live. Charlie from yesterday. How's that? I just like to get stuff done, man. I don't know about you guys. I hate stuff hanging over my head. I just want to get it done. So Charlie's at UF trying to figure out how to do wholesaling. And that's where Zach spent a lot of his time training in wholesaling. And at one point, Zach had his entire dorm room cold calling for cash. And Zach used to bury me in deals while he was at UF, and I loved it. So, guys, just because you're in college, I will tell you this: do not make college the best years of your life. That is one of the worst goals to ever have in your life. So, Charlie, have a good time while you're at college. And UF's an extremely reputable school, very hard school to get into. I would have never got into it. But make connections and figure out and learn as much as you can in the books and outside the books, especially in the business world, and get a head start in life, especially if you're going to be there 3 or 4 years. Get a head start and get it done, because you don't want to be figuring that stuff when you're 4 years out of college, because that's when you wind up living with your parents forever. And I don't want that for you. And I don't. So kudos to people who want to, let me pull this off here. I left the last one on there. So awesome, guys. So any questions on wholesaling? I'm opening up the floor. And Massachusetts, Steve, what's tax? I assume it's Massachusetts, but maybe you got just a high tax rate there. So what's up, Drez? I appreciate you too. Thank you. Joel says the same, AK Eskimo. College is just a different world, man. Like, so for full disclosure, I went to college. I did the 6-year plan because I had a little too good a time at college. But I just don't understand people say college is the best time of your life. Like, every year should be better in your life. Like, it should be all the way, maybe in your final years, because you're looking back and spending time with family and your body ails you. But like, honestly, every year's got to be better. Like, how can it not be better? You make more money, you make yourself better, you learn about everything. I'm just telling you, like, you cannot peak at like 21, 22. It's like, don't do that. So I've had this thing where I've gotten a little bit better every year. I've just been slower than most people. I wish I did a lot faster, but I really didn't start to peak till my 30s and start figuring stuff out. Now I'm in my 50s. Like, the amount of knowledge I know, man, I just wish I listened to people a little bit better. So I listen a lot, but the problem is I listen to people. I listen to a lot of the wrong people, including my parents. Hopefully they're not watching. All right, Dad. I'll see you soon. Listen, I'm here to tell you, our parents, we love them to death. They're some of the worst financial people ever to teach you, and because they gave us life, we owe a lot to them. But honestly, if your parents aren't cutting it financially, like, don't listen to them financially. Like, you guys, we got to wake up about this college thing. If you're going in debt to go to college for like a business degree, you really got to take a second look at what you're doing. So, that's all I'm going to say on it. I'm not here to tell you. My wife is a former educator, and I just want what's best for you. And so many people in college think like this magic pill. I find that parents brag on what school their kids go to college, and that's purely an ego play. So if you really want what's best for your kids, is have them figure out how to be independent in business and how not to depend on any one person, employer, or government to take care of you, and amazing things will happen in their life. So I agree, Steve. So I'm not getting on the whole college thing. I went to college. It just didn't work out for me. And honestly, if I spent 6 years working for someone as a mentee or an internship, I would have done a heck of a lot better. So, but I didn't know. That's what I got. So Christian says he's in the Colorado market. He's got a fish on the line. I want to have a solid offer ready for our appointment for a steel hunt. What is the good approach for formulating a solid offer? So go over to freewholesaling.com. But here's the reality is you got to go for the first no. And I know that sounds like really awkward, but it's important. So once you've qualified them and asked the 4 pillar questions on it to qualify your lead, the numbers should start to dictate themselves. If you have to superly comp a property, I always tell people you're paying too much for it. So if a property comps out at $100,000 and you're struggling, just figure out what it needs repairs and figure out the minimum you want to make on it. And I always tell people 10 grand should be the minimum you should try to accept. I'm not telling you to walk away from $3,000 or $5,000, but shoot for 10. Okay. So if that property needed $10,000 in repairs worth $100,000, that means you're at 90,000. You want to make a minimum of 10,000. I'm going to start at 70 to 75,000 on that property and see where I go from there. But remember, you want to get that initial no so you can scope out the best deal you can possibly get, not to get kicked out of there. Okay. And don't freak out when they get all upset when you throw out like that lowball offer. Just go, no, I wasn't going to offer that anyway. I was just asking, I was just like, I just pull back and go, well, I was thinking about it. If you do that kind of weak, scrunchy face, like, I'm not sure. What if I just offered you like 50? Would that work? And they go, oh my God, you're crazy, Rick. No, I didn't think that would work. So tell me a number you think would work and shut up and volley it. And I teach you the volley method in the course, back and forth. Remember, if you go to over 2 objections on someone on price, by the 3rd time, they'll always give you the price. So just hang in there. You got it, Christian. Good luck with it. As I said, just dig into freewholesaling.com and update us on how that deal goes. So we got something really cool coming up for you. Zach promised that I wouldn't share it, so I'm going to shut my mouth. But it's going to be a lot of fun coming up here. So within 30 days, I promise you, you guys are going to be very, very happy. So Steve says he loves to mow the lawn and smell the gasoline. Now, it's fun 1 or 2 times, but come to South Florida in July, August, September, mow the lawn. It's terrible. It's not fun because like I can hear the grass growing overnight. And like, honestly, for some reason, landscapers got skipped out in the inflation deal. So people try to raise the rates on like cutting all my lawns, and I got a lot of lawns I got to cut. And I told them, I go, man, it's $100. It's $100. Like I've been doing this 7 years with you. I'm not changing. So they all tried to raise it like $50 on me. I'm like, no. And because there's so many people mowing lawn in South Florida, we have so much competition that if they bow out, another one just jumps in. So for some reason, landscaping didn't quite get the price increase. Everybody else got inflation, but tell me what you guys think. So Shauna's got a question, says, thank you for the info. I apologize. Unrelated question. Some holes in my thinking of the process. How much time do you allow in the contract for the buyer to deposit their deposit? So if you're looking to assign a property, and specifically on assignment, I want it funded that day. The maximum really 24 hours. Honestly, if they can't come up with the deposit, they're never going to be able to buy the property. So if someone's buying a property, say for $100,000, $150,000, and you ask for a $3,000 or $5,000 deposit and they struggle to get it, heed the warning. It's just, what are you going to do when they need the other $95,000? So 24 hours, that's it. The way the assignment agreement's written, if you guys go to freewholesaling.com, I'll put it up here up top for you. In that assignment agreement, I put a little protection clause in there to help you all out. And it basically says if your buyer signs the agreement and does not fund it by the end of that business day, that agreement is null and void. That way you don't have to chase them around. So I had too many people commit to buy a property and they checks in the mail. I'll be there tomorrow. I sent the wire. It must be lost. No. I tell them, I'll sign this. It's good till the end of the day. If your stuff doesn't show up, we're done. If there's a question of how the money got there, then I need a paper trail. I need a wire number, a confirmation, whatever it is. I need a copy of the check. Don't buy their BS stories because I've heard every one of them. It says, I found it up aboard. Well, either or. So at least you guys know it's live, because when you do stuff like that, it's just, I'm not paying attention and I knocked it over, and you guys could probably see a puddle on my desk here, but unfortunately it hit some internet wires, which I'm surprised we're still even online. So it's just kind of funny. So guys, this stuff happens all the time. So if something like this were to happen to you and you're on like a seller's appointment, just go with it. People are like human. They're real. Nobody's perfect, including myself and Zach. We make mistakes. We do dumb stuff every now and then, and you have to find a way to just keep going on. It would be really easy for me just to end this live and call it a day. But luckily, I have some people helping me here. And now we can clean up. If I tell you how much coffee I spilled, you wouldn't even believe me. So I hate cleaning up messes like that. But, stuff happens. It's okay. So let's get back to wholesaling. I got another 15, 20 minutes here, so I feel bad. So, Studio, I appreciate I'm a legend at spilling coffee. So if I lose the internet, it's just because the wire is buried in coffee right now, and I made a mistake. So how often you pull the code violation list? I would pull it, as often as you can, once a month. Like, honestly, speed kills in those types of lists, and the more often you can get it when you get fresh new leads, those are the ones you'll do the best on. So let me make this a little bit bigger. So Amelia says, hey, Rick, I recently skip traced a list of pre-probates and one guy's name was on the list 50 times. Wow. How would I go about marketing to his properties? Honestly, you only got to send one letter to that person. Obviously, maybe that person owns 50 properties, but you only need one letter. You're going to look ridiculous if you send out all 50. So just do one letter, and understanding the pre-probates is not perfect. It will come up with something like that. So Ashley's got a nice long question here. How you doing, Ashley? No idea what market you're in there, but if you guys can tell me what market you're in, it just helps me kind of give you where your geographic area is. But so we're talking about hacking Propstream. Do you prefer text blasting over cold calling? Honestly, I prefer cold calling over text blasting. The advantage of text blasting is if you're on a limited time frame, it is much more scalable. But remember, the goal on text blasting is to convert them over to a phone call. And that's the biggest challenge. So now you can reach thousands of people with a click of a mouse. And that's the advantage. But eventually you do have to spend time converting them over to the phone. And the phone, you do more damage on it. That's why cold calling is typically more effective. It is harder up front because you have to go through and call everybody. Understanding 98% of the people you call don't want to do business with you. And that's the downside of cold calling. But cold calling, if you've got the time, is amazing. I agree. SMS is much more scalable. So if you had a 9-to-5 job, I would probably lean a little bit more towards that one. Yes, I am old school. And Stack says better cold calling. You have guys seen the most success reason? I am asking. I don't have any time at all to put into this and was curious. So you got to be honest with yourself and look at the time frame you have to commit to wholesaling. So I like, let's see here. I don't like cold calling. It's just because I don't like people cold calling me at all. And my other problem is when I did do some cold calling, and I only helped out Zach to learn it, is I got in too long of conversations with people. But that's just my personality. I like to talk to people. I'm a people person. I like to build rapport and talk to people. And I've learned cold calling is about getting through the 98% no's to get to those 1 or 2% yeses. And for that fact, it kills me. So you have to calculate and be honest with you how much time you have to do it. And if you have to do text blasting for time saving, it's great and scalable. But remember, you're going to have to convert them on the phone. So it's still going to cost you some time. You just got a little bit more leniency, but you do got to move with speed. This is why this is the reason why a lot of people are successful at direct mail, because they can control the inbound calls. So look at everything at Mailing Mastery and just kind of make a decision. I don't want you to do something you think you're going to fail with right off the bat. If you hate cold calling and you don't have the time for it, you might as well go to plan B right now. So good questions. Let's see here. Imagine spilling hot coffee on the sellers. Well, I'd rather the hot coffee spill on me than these wires that look like they're dangling, getting ready to spark and explode here. So Zach's probably going to kill me. So don't tell Zach I did this, because he tells me all the time, you're going to spill that coffee. And guess what I did? I spilled the damn coffee. So That was some good coffee too. You know, you get like the best part in the last quarter half of that coffee. I'm just a coffee guy because I have like a long day, and to get on these lives and kind of enjoy spend time, it kind of wakes me up a little bit. Because typically I go in the gym, I go to the gym after this when I'm said and done. So instead of going to the bar, I'd rather go to the gym. I just feel like I get something more done productive. Okay. Michael. So Michael's got two questions. Your first question says you're working with an agent directly with the seller. You still like using the 70% rule. Mike, dude, I love the 70% rule, but the 70% rule I was taught 20 years ago. So the 70% rule goes like this. If you had a property 100,000, if you offer 70% of the value, you usually do very well. And I agree. The world's changed, guys. You can't sit there and offer 70% on every property. You're going to get a lot of no's. So the magic number that you can sneak up to and still sell it with a profit is anywhere from 80 to maybe even 83%. It's just the truth today. 70% is an old school mentality rule. And here's it. Find out what your buyers will pay and just buy it for less. That's my rule. Don't go by that one. So let's go to the second part of your question here. When working with an agent and I use a 10-day inspection to find a buyer and I don't find a buyer, what do I say to get out of the contract during the inspection? So, Michael, I'm going to tell you the truth here because I'm not selling you a course. Number one, if you're new to wholesaling and you're just trying this as your first deal, to try to find a buyer on an MLS deal with an agent involved within 10 days is a steep task to ask for. Okay. And I don't want you to burn the agent and I don't want you to burn the homeowner. This is why we have a lot of regulations coming down our throats in wholesaling. So what I need you to do is find out if the agent even has an idea of what you're doing. Because if they don't, this is probably going to blow up in your face. Is your title company on board? Are you using your title company or are you using the seller or the agent's title company? 10 days is a really tight window if you've never done a deal before and you're trying to do this off of MLS. It's going to create a lot of confusion. So there's a lot of factors. Is the house vacant? What's going on with it? Do you have access to the lockbox to show your buyers? I have no idea what's going on. So give me some more information, but I'm going to be honest with you, it's tight what you're doing, man. I would not advise that for if you're new to wholesaling. So give me some more information, see if I can help you out. And I promise you, I won't spill coffee on top of you. So Michelle says, hey, Rick, how do you address your pre-probate letters after hello? Actually, I just did an entire video on this last week, and I shared my entire letter. And if you go to freewholesaling.com, you can download that letter and use it. So just do that. It says here, you said you left it at hello. Is that the appropriate? Feels weird to put the estate of. So, dude, I did 2 hours on this. And I bled my heart on this. Because I'm very good at probates. So Michelle, go back to my previous week. Go under Flip with Rick YouTube and look up probate. I have a few videos, but I just did this one last week. It's going to be most relative, and go to freewholesaling.com. It's somewhere in there, but if you go on that video, I actually put the links below the video and that should help you up. So, listen, Tier, I love this one. I'll cold call anyone. I don't care. So, Tara, I love people like that. See, this is the attitude if you're going to do cold calling, you better have this energy and attitude with you. It's so critical. So many people how many calls do I have to make before you think I'll get a deal, Rick? I don't know. How many are you willing to make? How many? What's your limit? If it's 1,000, just quit now. And so when I get people like Tara, I'll call anyone. I'm fearless. If I have to make 100,000 calls, I'll do it. That's how you get successful at wholesaling, particularly in cold calling. So kudos to Tara. I love comments like that because that's the attitude. That's the fire it takes. Guys, it's wholesaling. You got to have fun with it and you got to have the energy level to bring with it. Kind of like this. Wake you up. Okay, enough of that. You kind of get the picture of it. You have to be super excited about what you're doing. Otherwise, it's a problem. So Tara's right. Just go search. I just did this last week. It's the video you asked for. Go watch it in its entirety. You'll get a ton out of it. So, Dwayne, I do. I mix up like direct mail like you have no idea. So, I like to use the rapid offer system. If you guys go to freewholesaling.com, I share the vendor I use it with. Remember, I don't do print and mail. That's not my experts in marketing. So I just try to work with companies that work with investors like us that understand what we're trying to accomplish by connecting with motivated sellers. And we let you customize it the way you want it. But so I did a handwritten postcard system, worked very well. I did rapid offer system. I've done the whole garage sale flips. And by the way, I love it. There's somebody out there on the internet that says, "Oh, we have this special secret way we've been doing this through like Facebook groups and garage sales." Guys, dude, I've been doing that since 2007. Like, I love when people say I invented it. You didn't invent it. It's been around forever. There's no secrets in wholesaling. Just some of the technology changes, and that's it. Shauna asks, after a seller signs a purchase agreement, do you immediately take it to the title company or tell them you're to run with it, or do you wait for a buyer and then take both contracts? Typically, I like to give it to the title company right away to find out if we have clear title and see if there's any issues. Also, your title company acts as a second benefit to you by reinforcing to the seller that you have a deal with a legit title company. If they contact them the day or within 24 hours, if you're doing the deal, you have a far better chance or less likelihood of having the seller back out of that deal, which you guys have a lot of those problems going on now. Take it to your title companies right away as soon as possible. Okay, that's my recommendation. That's how we do it. Freddie asks, do you make offers to sellers that are willing to sell, but there is no motivation other than price? No, it's a waste of time. Like, if you just want to compete on price, you have to go on MLS. And I don't want to be the guy that pays the most. So odds are, if they're on one of your lists, though, a lot of times it's a lot more than price. Everybody starts at price, but at the end, say if they have a code violation or it's a probate, they probably got to get the property sold. So remember, it's just like on Facebook. You guys don't go share all your dirty laundry on Facebook. Actually, Facebook is like fake book to me. It's like everything's great. I'm doing that. Like, you never hear about anybody's problems on Facebook. Why is that? Because everybody wants to show their best light. So when you're dealing with a seller and they don't know you and they tell you it's all about price, but you got them off of a tax delinquency list, sometimes they just take time. And if you go through the 4 pillars of questions to ask, eventually the truth always works its way out. It's just a matter of time. So don't discount them on price. Just try to keep looking for any type of motivation. And if the motivation never comes out and you've been through like a call or two, then maybe it's time to move on. Or maybe they just go up in your follow-up list. So Michelle, hopefully she answered your question there. So I am soaking in coffee and I hear it dripping under the table. This is bad. Don't tell Zach. I like, honestly, when I touch technology, like, bad things happen. So it's funny. Lisa, I'd love to know how to pronounce that. It's a really unique name and I like it. If a property is still on the MLS, why would any investor go after it once we have it? Equitable interest. I don't know. Maybe you guys can help her answer that question out. I don't touch MLS. I just use MLS to sell my stuff, and I pull it for like comps and data. I would never ever try to take a property off MLS. It just doesn't work in my market. It doesn't mean it might not work in your markets. And I know people do it all over the country, but I'm just telling you, to try to wholesale a property off MLS and do an assignment agreement, the agent's usually going to screw it up, and then the homeowner's usually going to screw it up too because they don't understand what you're doing. So that's the reasons I stay away from it. So Eskimo, I'm glad you enjoy me spilling my coffee and using foul language because you guys know I don't do it. I didn't think the mic was on, so I apologize. So I should take a picture and show you this mess. Oh my God, it's bad. I like an entire 16-ounce cup of coffee just went over every wire. And I see one of them it's starting to flicker a little. So we just won't tell Zach. I know you guys are all good friends, so it's just funny. That's what I love about live. So eventually something always happens, but it is what it is. Primal ask, hey, how do we get access to priority probates for you, Rick? So full disclosure, I sold that program to a company years ago, and they still sell it. And I had to wait X amount of years before I could reclaim it and do anything. So if you search it out on the internet, you can find it there. I don't get a benefit from it. I've already been paid off fully. I got paid very nicely for it. I will tell you the information is great, but I do not service it and I don't get any money from it. So heed your warning. I made a deal and I got to live up to it. So I got like another 3 years left on it. So, but it is a great product. It is me. But I don't own it anymore. Like sometimes you sell rights to stuff. And when I was getting in 2014, I just decided I wanted to get out of the education part of the business because I thought it was so messy. Now, the really cool thing is if you find it, it ain't $10,000. It's really, really cheap, but it's a good product. I don't support it. It's all automated. So there's really no customer service with it. You download it, you look at the modules and utilize it. I think it's like $150 or something like that, but I don't own it. So I don't get the money when you do it. But keep in mind, it's still a good product, and I can't say anything bad about it. So let's see what else we got here. It's a good question. Amy says, is it costly to do the direct mail when we first starting out? Honestly, that's the most costly time to do it because you're not generating any revenue from it. And it usually takes 1 to 2 quarters to really get the maximum benefit from it. So if you want to understand all the mechanics on how to do mailing, go to mailingmastery.com and I walk you through the whole thing, Amy. There's no cost to it. It's absolutely free. Just register there and I want you to take your time and go through it and you'll understand at least the logistics of how it works out and the mentality behind it because I've been doing it 20 years and you've got to understand how it works and how you can utilize it in your market. Once you understand it, then you use it as a tool and a weapon. If you're scared of it and you think it's just a cost, you're probably going to fail at it. That's why I created that mailingmastery.com. Just check it out. So, awesome. Awesome. Man, I'm not now, I'm never going to drink a coffee on this show again because I made that. Because when I'm done here, I'm probably going to be spending 30 minutes cleaning up this crap. Stained on the wall. It's really bad. There's a housekeeper when you need one. Feel like family. Yeah. I wish a family member would come in and help me clean this up, but where's Zach when I need him, right? Where's your kids when you need them, right? So no, Zach's out. Actually, Zach has a life outside of wholesaling, if you can believe that or not. So let's see. Kevin says, thanks for the value. For the new wholesalers, how do we verify we're estimating renovations appropriately? So to be honest with you, the price on renovations are changing so fast. Like how I priced stuff out years ago, honestly, I'm in the same boat you are now, Kevin. I don't even know how to price. I know how to price stuff. I just know it's high. So you can figure out what the cost per square foot is to do flooring, painting inside and out. The real wild card are bathrooms and kitchens. A standard kitchen you get done for $10,000 to $12,000 with appliances for nothing like crazy. Honestly, that number is probably close to 20, 25 now. The numbers are out of control. And you guys got to understand that when you do it. So you can go out and learn. One of the best way to do is work with a contractor and just price some stuff out and you'll figure it out quick. Hopefully prices will start to settle in here and we get more predictable outcomes. But if I was a rehabber right now, I would literally be freaking out because the cost has almost doubled to rehab a house. So, Kimberly says you'll probably never spill it again. You must be talking with my wife because she's like, you're going to spill that one day. I'm telling you, you're going to spill it. You're going to make a mess and you're going to be knocked off your live. And it all came true. So The power of suggestion is very, very powerful. So here's what I want you to do. I want you guys to go over to listrei.com. I want you to get set up in your PropStream account. If not, you can use Batch, use zacdata.com. Go out and get your list. I don't care if you do high equity. I don't care if you do vacant, you do pre-probate. Get started if you want to use that tool. Remember, it's not a requirement. And I want you guys to be successful. Instead of going out and spilling coffee, I want you to go out there and get a deal and get it wholesaled and get going. Guys, the only thing separating you from flipping a deal is the action you take, and you have to take an enormous amount of action. You can study till you turn blue, but at the end of the day, either you have the guts to move forward in wholesaling, make sure you define your why and why you're doing it, and amazing things will happen in your life. Guys, 20 years ago, I took a leap of faith, and that's why I'm connecting with you now. That's why my son is in this business, is wildly successful at the ripe age of 22. And I don't care if you're 16 just looking like this or you're 96. It doesn't matter. Age is just a number. Go ahead and get started. Don't worry about what others think. Once you understand you're trying to take care of you, your family, and your friends and your loved ones, and wholesaling is the ticket to get there, to get you there, then nothing will stop you. You are so much better than being average. God did not put you on this earth to be average. I don't want you to be average. You need to do exceptional things. You need to be the leader in your group. And honestly, you need to go find people that are going to inspire you even more. Hopefully within this group, between me and Zach, we can strive you to get it going. Guys, get out there, get it going. Go to freewholesaling.com. I'll see you in the next video. And I promise I won't spill any more coffee. I apologize if you guys heard something, but understand this is live. Sometimes we just make mistakes. So I'm here to help you guys out. Guys, tune in every weekday, Tuesday through Friday. We do live videos, and every day we post at least 2 videos on this channel. Guys, I appreciate you. Have a wonderful weekend and keep it spill free.